Yeah. Who am I? Someone that's afraid to let go. You decide if you're ever gonna let me know. Yeah, suicide.
Dwane was fired today, and all of social media is blaming you for it. And when so many franchises, the long-running narrative with you is you've destroyed all of these teams that can't get through you, and then Dwane gets fired because he keeps losing you. What do you make of that? What do you think about that when you hear that all these teams are blowing up and because they can't get through you?
I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely not a one-man army. I've been fortunate enough to play with two great franchises in my career and play with some really, really good players. We had some success in the postseason, and I've had a lot of success in the postseason. I don't know. I don't really get involved in the narrative of social media. I'm the last guy to ask about what people say on social media. That's not a field of my life at all. So it sucks that with the great season that they had and I'm just going off my own mind right now, just looking at the level of success they've had over the last 4 years maybe. He's been there 4 or 5 years, I believe. 7 years. Probably within the last 5 years, I bet they've improved in probably winning percentage every single year. And but I guess their front office wants playoff success, and that's what it boils down to, I guess.
I asked you before Game 4 what you thought of Boston and how they had managed to get this far with all the injuries. So what are your thoughts there?
Well, I think they're one of the most well-coached team in our league. And obviously, you know what I've said about Brad Stevens before and his ability to get the most out of his guys. How great they are out of timeout, late clock situation as well. No matter who's on the floor and no matter who's played for them, he can put guys in a position to succeed and get the most out of who's ever been in their lineup, for the past few years. It's not just this year. Mm-hmm. I think it's been a little bit overblown this year because of the names that's been out. Mm-hmm. Obviously, with Kyrie and Gordon and the injuries with those two big guys. But he's gotten the most out of everybody he's ever put in his position since he's got to Boston pretty much a few years ago.
About Dwane Casey.
Yeah, I heard about it.
I mean, you talked about it the other night, but it's still hard to fathom.
Yeah, it is. I mean, for what he's done for that team and the culture of that team, and his accolade speaks for itself. I mean, he got Coach of the Year, and then you get fired the next day. So, I mean, it's crazy. I'm not even going to speak on it.
So how hard is it to be a coach in the NBA?
It's very hard. I think, when you have guys getting paid millions of dollars and the players make more than you do, mm-hmm. It's kind of hard to tell a guy what to do. It's not a lot of jobs where, the employees get paid more than the boss. Mm-hmm. So it's a different atmosphere, and it's a thin line, and we know it's a players' league, and they run the league, and we understand that, and it's a tough job, man, especially when you got stars and superstars and all stars. It's a tough job, so you just got to be a people's person. It's more about managing the egos and personalities than it is about X's and O's, and so that's the hardest part.
Had one of the toughest tasks, arguably, in the league, not just with the variety of personnel, but coaching arguably the greatest player in the game in LeBron. How have you, these last couple of years, been able to not only coach him, but keep, with all the changes, this team at a championship competitive level?
Well, I mean, I guess in my experience of being with Kobe and Shaq, being with Jordan, having a chance to coach KG and, Ray Allen, Pete Pierce, and those type of guys. So, LeBron's no different. He wants to win. He's all about winning. And it's easy to set the tone when his work ethic is so great. I think his work ethic speaks for itself. And all the other guys are going to fall in line, So they fall in line when he's out here, an hour and a half before practice working on his game or, getting stretched, in the weight room. So they follow his lead, so it makes it a lot easier on me.
I take zero pleasure in reporting when people lose their jobs. In this case, the Toronto Raptors have decided to fire Dwane Casey. Here's why I anticipated that happening. I talked about it on Countdown, Jalen and Jacoby, and obviously on Get Up. The core group of the Raptors, 9 of their 10 players are under contract for next year. A couple of those contracts are going to be really tough to move. In particular, Kyle Lowry and Serge Ibaka. So it's not much change you can actually do for the roster, except get a new voice. I felt that new voice would officially happen when in Game 3, DeMar DeRozan was benched the last 14 minutes of the game. And I was asked, what did I think about that? I said, I think that's going to cost Dwane Casey his job because that's his best player, who they paid $130+ million to play basketball. And when he's not out there in the most important game of the season, when he's built up so much equity with the franchise and the team, there is no coming back from that as it relates to a level of respect you want to have from your best player. So it'll be interesting to see what direction the Raptors going to go for their head coaching search. A couple of names I'm going to put out there are Mark Jackson and Monty Williams. Stay tuned.
Brad, your thoughts on the fire to Dwane Casey?
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing from the standpoint of the, coaching profession, but, as far as another coach, looking at what he was able to accomplish, I think he's a role model for a lot of coaches. When you think about his great players got better and played great, his young players all got better, and really the second unit in Toronto was as good of a team and as fun of a team as there was to watch in all of basketball this year. And on top of that, Dwane is as good of a person as they come. So, that's why I think we all know in coaching that this stuff happens. It's disappointing from a professional standpoint, but it doesn't take away how good he is. And I'm sure that people will be lined up to try to get him to coach their team shortly.
Everybody practiced today, and is there any update on Shane?
Nader didn't practice. He was doing some one-on-one stuff at the beginning of practice and got swiped across the eye and had a little bit of blurry vision, so he's going to go see our doctor here. Shane did not practice. He's in the training room. He's not going to play early in this series for sure. I doubt that he'll play anyways. And I think everyone else that's been available did. What's that, 10? Yeah, everybody else did.
Last 2 games against Cleveland, you guys started Korver, Hudson at 5, and Morris at 4. Do you think that's the lineup you'll return to this series?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, in one of those games we played pretty well. In the second game we started okay, but we didn't play well. So, we'll look at all those things over the next few days and let you.
I think in some ways, I think the time has come, like sometimes, like these things come to an end, relationships come to an end, and we'll figure out a way to move on, new voice, and just knew everything in terms of that position, and it's really, really difficult to make this, especially in a short time from when the season ended to now. So nothing in particular that Coach Casey did wrong, but I think it was time for this to happen.
Why was it important to you to make this decision as quickly as you did?
I've used the last 3 days to really evaluate, spent countless hours, worked with our team. This is not something we take lightly, but also in consideration with Coach Casey and maybe looking at other jobs. To give him that chance, be fair that way. That we're not taking that chance away instead of dragging things on.
You said this is difficult. Did you speak to him in person or over the phone? And what was his reaction?
Yeah, I'd never speak to Casey over the phone with something like this. I met with him today. We've met every day. had lunch together yesterday. What an unbelievable human being. You know, like it made it, this the hardest thing I've done in my life. I'll say it. And Bobby Webster and I went to speak to him, and I've never met anybody so that classy in my life. You know, like I don't know that I'll work. I can honestly say that I don't know that I'll work with a better person. He's just very graceful. You know, he thanked us. He appreciated his time here, and just grateful. Just Casey.
Finally made it to Bristol, man. Oh boy. Oh, man. Finally made it to Bristol. Last 2 days been crazy, man. Super crazy. Rest of the week, Sports Center. I don't know if I'm doing a jump or not, but I'm definitely doing Sports Center the rest of the week. Next week, back to Fox. Grinding. Grinding all my life, like Nip say. I'm grateful though, you dig? Shout out to Cuzzo for the hat. I'm definitely grateful. Grinding hard. Tired, but getting to it. I'm just trying to figure this out though. How you are voted Coach of the Year by all the coaches in the NBA, but you get fired. I know some coaches who barely make it to the playoffs or don't make the playoffs and they still got their job. Like how you are Coach of the Year and you get fired. Like Coach of the Year, that's probably the highest honor you can get as a coach besides coaching your team to a championship, right? And you are voted the best coach in the NBA by all your peers, by all the other coaches. So that means you're a great coach. And you got fired still? Whatever he did to get fired, let me know, okay? So I won't do that when I'm coaching. Because I don't know how you can be Coach of the Year and still get fired. Please. Hey, man, you know what? I was free. Something I wanted to share with y'all, too, some free game. I know a lot of y'all don't even know. You know, a lot of these coaches, you know, a lot of time they don't have time to really go look at players and scout players, so they have actual scouts. They go look at these players that end up on their teams, right? You got to start blaming some of these scouts for some of these players these teams be having. Because, you know, like some of these scouts ain't never even played basketball. So as a player, you know players that really love the game, that's going to play hard all the time. You know players, you know, that's really good, really probably the best on the team, but don't have the heart, don't have the energy to work. You know, playing with players from different nationalities from all over, you know different players. You can sense what guys going to go hard and what guys really care about the game as a player. You know, I just think not playing the game, it's hard for you to pick players that's going to actually play hard for your team, and coaches be stuck with them.